Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday, where each week I take a look at a different independent computer role-playing game. This week, I'm not sure if this game qualifies as indie, but we'll roll with it anyway. Developed and published by Behold Studios, Chroma Squad was released back in 2015, so several years ago now. Chroma Squad is listed as a tactical RPG/strategy RPG featuring a customizable team as well as certain elements of base building involving boosting your effectiveness through improving your studio. The game takes place in a sort of episodic form where you are on a series of missions, returning to your studio to improve it between them, as well as improving your individual team members' gear. In terms of plot, Chroma Squad follows the misadventures of a group of stunt people from a Power Rangers-like show. After getting fed up with the direction the original show was taking, they venture off to create their own studio. The overall story has them improving their own gear and recording equipment, but the missions in general have a sort of in-story feel to them, where they engage in various fights with minions and bosses as parts of episodes in the show. When you start the game, you select a difficulty level from among 4 difficulties, which allows you to adjust whether to focus on the story or to challenge combat. You then go through the intro where your team of characters becomes fed up with the show they are on and bail to go out to make their own. During cutscenes like this, you can fast forward through them, useful if you've played the game before or just really aren't interested in the story. After a few tutorial missions, you enter the game proper, although a few options only unlock as you proceed through missions. Groups of missions are set up into seasons, effectively creating a series of episodes which consist of a few related missions in each. At the start of each season, you get a season contract, which gives you some spending cash and has some victory and loss conditions. You can name your studio and then select your team. There are 5 static roles for the team, each of which has its own special abilities. The assist member specializes in ranged attacks and healing. The techie specializes in use of gadgets and tricks. The lead helps to augment and inspire the rest of the team. The assault member is your main damage dealer, while the scout specializes in quick movement. For each of the team members, you may select an actor to play the role, each of which has their own name, although you can rename the character that they play, a salary denoting how much they cost each episode, and a series of bonuses and penalties fitted to their personality. Once the initial team is set, you cannot change it through the playthrough. After character creation, you are dropped into the studio and your character management screen. This gives a graphical representation of your studio and allows you to purchase relevant items. At first, you may only shop for equipment, upgrade the studio, or manage your individual actors, but later you get the opportunity to craft items, engage in marketing, and so on. These options are presented across the bottom of the screen, along with some other relevant information. The name of your studio and the season you're on is in the lower left. Your total money and fans are listed at the bottom, along with an icon for any in-game email messages that you may have. The lower right button is a record button that allows you to start filming the next episode. The actor management lets you review each of the 5 team members. Individually, each actor has a set of relevant stats, attack rating based on their weapon, class, and ability, health, skill regeneration, movement, critical chance, chance to dodge, and then counterattack chance. The extra abilities each class has are listed, as well as the individual actor card and their stat adjustments. Each character may also equip skills, 1 skill per tier. There are 5 tiers of skills, with up to a couple of skills in each. Each tier is unlocked after a new season begins. These skills may be substituted out in the actor management screen between any episode. Finally, each character may equip a helmet, a set of armor, a weapon, gloves, and boots. These modify the individual character stats, while the overall party inventory is listed, allowing you to select between different equipment options on the fly. Shopping allows you to purchase certain gear as it would in any game. This may include a variety of equipable items and weapons, and the selection may be improved as the game goes on. Studio management allows you to change in-game cosmetic options through studio options, ranging from the various catchphrases and studio and squad names to more interesting information. You may also purchase upgrades. These upgrades improve one action of the game, and each comes with an immediate cost as well as an upkeep cost, which can limit your profits from each episode recorded if you aren't careful. Some of these improvements may be reliant on other improvements being purchased first, or certain seasons being completed. The crafting option allows you to build new gear for yourself, as well as to salvage equipment from existing gear. During episodes when you defeat enemies, or when you salvage equipment items, you get a chance to pick up a random assortment of crafting material. These can be used in combination with the crafting station to build gear with additional random properties. As you improve the studio, you may get more options for higher-end gear, and the lack of an ability to sell items means that salvaging old items is pretty much the only way to get rid of them, so you may as well do it anyway. The marketing section allows you to enter into a contract with a marketing firm. This costs you money and is available for a set number of episodes. You may then use fan power that you accrue after each episode to activate the marketing bonuses. These generally allow you to monetize each episode a little bit better or provide other audience-related bonuses. Each marketing company has its own slate of options, but they also include a random option in each one as well that changes each time you take it. Once you've unlocked the mecha during play, you can also customize your mecha. This mecha has a base attack, health, and defense that are used during mecha combat sequences, but this customization screen allows you to change each part utilizing the crafting system. Your head, each arm, your body, and each leg may be changed or upgraded separately. These different styles of body part may boost the mecha's stats one way or the other. You can also equip different skills you've unlocked from the different parts in this section as well. Once you select record, you can select from a series of episodes based on the season. At first, you're limited as to what order you can record certain episodes in, but these generally open up as the game goes on. Each episode has a quick synopsis, a maximum audience that can be earned during that shoot, as well as a location where it takes place. There are also director instructions. Many episodes consist of multiple missions, and each mission has its own set of instructions. Following a director's instruction during a mission enhances the rewards for that mission. Each mission consists of a combat scenario. You are placed on a map with the enemies, and generally after an introductory cutscene, just let to go. Your relevant director's instructions are displayed before the combat. The interface for the combat consists of an isometric representation of the scenario in the middle, and along the top left are the director instructions and their current status, just to remind you so you can keep track of them. On the top of the screen is your current audience. The audience is used to power certain abilities. For instance, in many scenarios, you start in your street clothes and must chromatize in order to adopt your team's more powerful suited and helmeted forms. This may be done only when you've reached a certain amount of audience. Audience is increased through actions in combat. The flashier, the better, and has additional benefits. They're converted to cash and fans at the end of the episode. On the left are your team members. Their names, health, class, and actions available are listed. You may select team members to act in any order you want during your turn. On the bottom of the screen, there's the Chromatize button if you aren't in your suited form, as well as the Teamwork button. A character who is in Chroma form may also have a variety of skill buttons to execute as well. On an individual character's turn, they may make 2 moves. The range that they can move is outlined in blue squares, or yellow if they can reach an area with an assist. If an enemy is in range, they are highlighted in red, meaning you can reach them and then attack them. If you attack or move an attack, that counts as both of your actions that turn. If you use certain skills, that also counts as your turn. While other skills may be free to use, you'll have to refer to the individual skill. If you move, you haven't used your action yet, you may then move again as your action instead. Finally, you can click the Teamwork button to put a character into Teamwork mode. Putting a character into Teamwork mode ends their turn, but does have some special effects. Certain classes, such as support, have effects that go off when they enter Teamwork mode. Further, a character in Teamwork mode may prepare to assist another character in their movement through lifting them up in an acrobatic jump. Finally, if one or more characters are in Teamwork mode adjacent to an enemy, then another character attacks that enemy, all the characters that are in Teamwork mode adjacent to that enemy will attack it once for additional damage. If all available characters are in Teamwork mode when the last one attacks, you execute a finishing move that does massive damage after a cinematic cutscene, and may result in an additional audience score if you time it right. Actually, combating enemies is pretty straightforward. Simply reduce their hit points through attacks until they disappear like any other strategy RPG. The real strategy comes in trying to obey the director's instructions and keep your overall audience score up through combos while actually surviving the fight. At a certain point in the game, you may also get a mecha fight. This is effectively a fight between your team's combination mecha against another giant robot or monster. It's a timed minigame where you must click to activate an attack or defense during a sliding scale, but may be modified by additional gear that you've built up on your mecha over time. At the end of an episode, your audience is converted to money and fans based on the conversion rate. Fans generate fan power and may generate a base audience for each later episode, allowing you to use marketing and start with a little extra audience power, while income is used to pay the salaries, upkeep costs, and generally upgrade the studio with whatever's left. And so play proceeds through each season, basically as a series of tactical combat scenarios, linked by a framing story that, while based on things like the Power Rangers, has hints of the humor found in other Behold games. Graphically, Chroma Squad uses the colorful pixel graphics style that one may have become accustomed to if you've played other games from these developers. Not quite retro, but also not quite modern either. The music is a little bit poppy. The intro music is a bit hilariously on the nose, sounding almost exactly like what you'd expect of an action monster fighting TV series. I think they're called, Super something or another. Anyway, while the music during gameplay that's just passable, I gotta admit. I was not a fan of it. In terms of writing, Behold has a few other games, such as Galaxy of Pen and Paper, that provide a humorous take on a particular genre. In prior games I've covered from them, it was mostly a role-playing game. This time it's Japanese monster fighting shows, and it's not a genre with which I'm at all familiar, so I can't say how some of the genre-specific humor pans out, but in terms of overall goofiness, the scenarios presented are on par with other games from the studio. That is to say, your mileage may vary. There's also a little bit of messaging that I'm almost afraid to mention, as I wasn't quite sure whether it was satirical or not. It's so hard to tell nowadays, and what might have been a passing joke even a few years ago has to be taken super seriously now, and I'm really sick of that. I found the gameplay to have the same sort of simplistic but strangely addicting quality that I have seen in, say, Knights of Pen and Paper, where the individual missions and combat weren't exactly difficult, just challenging enough to be interesting sometimes, but the persistent boost part of upgrading the studio was at least interesting, and as interesting as upgrading individual characters in other games might be. However, like other games from this studio, the gameplay loop is rather repetitive, so if it doesn't really grab you, you're probably going to find it a little bit boring after a while. All in all, do I recommend it? Probably not at full price. While somewhat engaging, there's way better tactical RPGs out there for much cheaper, and with the humor as it is, even some of Behold's other titles might be a little bit more amusing. It does go on sale decently often, however, and can be found in bundles from time to time. In fact, that's how I picked it up. So that may be your better option if you're interested in it. At any rate, I think I will wrap it up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with Indie Game Friday Chroma Squad. As always, I'll leave a link to where you can pick it up below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you've got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content, both tabletop and computer. Until next time, take care and goodbye. And if you're still watching this far, I'd like to take a moment to thank those who have supported this channel via Patreon or direct donations throughout the years, without which this channel could not have lasted as long as it has. For those who are feeling particularly generous, you can still support my work through Patreon and now through Subscribestar as well, through the links in the description below.